Okay, hey. All right. So, got a question. What is the best way to start the regimen taking the BioCleanse and ProBio 5? If you wanted to just put in the chat, what got you started on plexus, that actually helps me know how to navigate that. So, people who are constipated, typically I pair the BioCleanse and the ProBio 5 together at night, and then I'll do additional BioCleanses during the day. When you're starting it, if they're more constipated, I'll start with the BioCleanse. If they have looser stools, I actually start with the ProBio 5, because a lot of times just getting that good bacteria in there helps firm things up. But sometimes it's can have the opposite, loosen and then firm it up because you have like die off and stuff happening. Weight loss, energy, and healing my gut. Those are great goals. All right, so weight loss, you're gonna want to eventually work up to 4 probio 5. If you have a lot of detox, you can add in like ease and things like that, or restore, just help the liver and the lymph release the toxins. And energy, again, the more, excuse my dog jumping into the background, the more you have regular bowel movements, like your goal is to get it once after every meal, really. That's like golden. So you're going like 3 times a day. If you're a snacker or you have a job where you don't, you should be having a bowel movement after you have your like meals, like your biggest meals. Because obviously when you're snacking, you're not gonna be going, you shouldn't be going all the time, or that's a whole other story to talk about. And then if you do a round of antibiotics, if anyone, Vital Biome is a great one to do. It's a great post antibiotic. Remember, it takes about a year to recover from one round. So plug that in there for a year. Some people, they do well with two, one. But sometimes the weight loss, remember, we have 12 to 15 pounds of toxic waste that's been sitting there. When it sits in our GI tract, it recirculates from, there's a, actually in your colon, there's a liver port that recycles things back up to your liver, can cause congestion up there, and then it dumps it back in the gut, and it's sort of like this nice little awful circle. And if we don't get rid of it, we just keep reabsorbing the toxins. They get stored back in fat, and we try to burn it, release it, gets put in the into the GI tract, gets reabsorbed, put into fat. You see where the cycle is? So as long as you're eliminating and helping move, that's hydration, movement, good food choices that help lower just the, additional toxins. But that's, I mean, really just making sure whatever works for your bowels of higher BioCleanse. I have some people, they'll take 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 at night. When you're starting, I would say just start with, like how it says, one BioCleanse and then add in another, and then 1 probio 5 and add in another. And then you can figure out if you need more BioCleanse. Like, do you need it 3 times a day? I did in the beginning. I was very constipated. And then eventually, I think I take like one or two now. See, 7 years in. Yeah. But it took a while. I mean, I was like really constipated. That's like 2 to 3 days. Like, I'd go every 2 days, 2 to 3 days. And so that is just a lot of junk that sort of can, builds on your pipes. Um, I don't know if you guys know, they say like, I think 3 feet away from the house, um, like your pipes are open and then it's filled with junk. Typically, that's what happens with us too. Things just build up and you got layers of junk. Um, And then, okay, so currently taking two of both, the BioCleanse in the afternoon, then two of the ProBio 5, not constipated, go at least twice a day. Okay, awesome. Now, one thing to look for is you want a release of of the full large intestine. So that's where it goes like up, under your rib cage, down and into the pelvic floor. So if you're getting like all of that, then that is a full bowel movement. So if you're getting that twice a day, then you're good. If it's half or less, then we want to work on it and get that full release because that means all the toxins are coming out and that means they're not getting stuck somewhere. So I would work on bumping up your ProBio 5 to 3. If you're good with 3, work up to 4. If you're like you bump up to 4 and you're like I don't feel quite as good or I'm detoxing or something, you can bump back down to 3 ProBio 5 and just hang there. And then, in a couple months you can try going back up to 4 and just see if that helps, you know, um, with the weight and the energy and things like that. Um, I will say if you need some energy, the active is really good. Has great anti-inflammatory things. A lot of times because we have like visceral fat, like we're trying to lose fat, and so we've got visceral fat around the gut and stuff. So that helps just with circulation. Gives you more energy, so you move more. So that's one thing that can help. So do you guys have any other questions about that? I'm gonna take a sip of my pink drink because I haven't had it yet today. Hmm. All right. So recently diagnosed with fatty liver. Yes. So the either regular X factor or X factor plus. That just really what fatty liver means is there is accumulation of toxins happening for whatever different reasons, and it can't process it. So it might be poor gut health, could be the MTHFR gene, could be a combination of that and toxins. So I would suggest the X Factor, either the regular X Factor or X Factor Plus. I like the X Factor Plus. It's full of minerals and good stuff. So you could start there. The other one would be the Restore. That one really supports liver health. People who have a fatty liver, I typically wouldn't put them on a full dose. I would have them do a quarter of a dose. They have a little scoop, a quarter of a scoop, um, and then slowly work your way up and where you feel good. Because a lot of times we think, like, let's just push it through. Let's just pound, like, get that detox going, where sometimes in the liver, the conversion just isn't happening fast enough. You have like a phase 1 and then a phase 2, and then, a phase 3 where it's getting excreted out the bile section. And if that's like plugged or anything in those 3 areas, it requires the vitamins that are in X Factor to help those conversions happen well. And then you have the Restore that's going to help support just the detoxification processes in the liver and the kidneys and the GI tract. So whatever you do to help the GI tract helps the liver. Um, and whatever you do to help the liver helps the GI tract. There's a liver gut axis that they work in tandem. So those would be the 2 I would suggest. But fatty liver, start slow on the Restore. And when you start the X Factor Plus, I would start 1 and then, 1 day and then 2 the next day. Um, yeah, so the Restore flavor, I don't like it either, but I like the benefits. So I actually put it in a little bit of water and take it like a shot. Um, and that's just, yeah, I've that's what I've done with a lot of things. I mean, you can actually try mixing it with like a little bit of juice to take the edge off. It won't change it. You don't have to do water. But again, yeah, if anything has a flavor issue, just take it like a shot, just make it very condensed, and then chase it with something you like or just water. And that should help. So these are really good questions. I'm glad you're asking. And really working on that fatty liver is going to be key to the weight loss. So that's one key piece for you of why you're not, or have maybe been struggling with the weight. And if you find you can't lose weight, like you plateau, your liver is what converts the fat when you break it down, it converts all the toxins and fats and helps excrete it. So it does a lot of work for us. So whatever you can do. Um, I'm trying to think of what else. The Slim's really good for that because of the alpha lipoic acid. Super great liver support. The beet is really good. That's why it's pink. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, there's lots of good stuff in it. That's good. Any other questions? Well, I'm waiting. I'm gonna just drink my pink drink again. I typically like drink mine really fast because I just got stuff I gotta do. I also will add vitamin C to my Slim, um, because we don't make our own vitamin C. And like if it's rainy or cloudy or there's lots of junk going around, I just dump 1,000 milligrams of just plain vitamin C crystals in there. And it tends to do really well. I'm trying to think of what else. Triplex. Um, okay, I have a potential client whose 21-year-old daughter struggles with ADHD, depression, low energy, et cetera, et cetera. What would be best for her? Okay. Um, I would do, thinking through that, I probably would have them start with Slim. Well, one, find out if they are constipated or not. You just, be like, I know TMI, but just want to find out. If they're constipated, then I would do, you could start with the triplex and then add on would be edge. But people with edge for ADHD, sometimes it calms them. Like I've had people who have ADHD, they actually take it to help them sleep. Now, don't experiment. Have them take it like during the day in case it does energize them. But they can also dose it out where they're taking a third of the edge. They can just open it, mix it in some yogurt, and they can take a third of it 3 times a day. So that's like a whole capsule. Um, just to help with that part. Depression, vital biome. When you have ADHD and depression, I typically think of the gut, but also some potential need for nutrition or MTHFR support, even if they don't know if that exists. So X Factor Plus. Um, so if they are pretty regular or they go too much, then I would do Slim, X Factor, Vital Biome for that, and then add in the Edge because the Edge really helps you focus. It's a neurotropic, so it helps the brain. Um, and then from there, so people with like depression, you can work up. They might not be able to handle like two X factors together. So just taking one's fine. But if they're fine with two, then they can take two. If they have uh, the depression, if the vital biome, they can take two together, like two vital biomes at once, or they can split it up morning and evening. So one to go to sleep and one to wake up. They would need 2 bottles, but that one's a really good probiotic. Um, I even give it to my kids because they just need something to help them with all that life has going on. Um, so does that help? I'm trying to think through all the things. And then you can work through like other stuff if you start going working through those and seeing she has like maybe her liver might be struggling a little bit, not able to detox or remove toxins as fast, like that would be increased depression, even with less energy. Um, she probably needs magnesium as well. So BioCleanse would be good. But if she can't do BioCleanse, then I would say magnesium threonate, which we don't have. That would just be a singular add-in, but it's really good for it crosses the blood-brain barrier. Um, it really helps the brain work well for people like that. And then just make sure if she's on ADHD medication, not to be mixing that with the edge like at the same time. Um, you want to make sure that's just separated by like 3 to 5 hours or so because we don't want to put too much pressure on the brain. Because some people, they just don't have like there's it's called neurogenetics, and so they just don't have they they're they're building and then breaking down of neurotransmitters can sometimes be altered. And then that's why you see stuff like this. But then you can have potential nutrition deficiencies. That's why X Factor is really good because it like helps make sure she's got all the nutrition getting in her and help maybe address some of those um, for her. Yeah, I mean we can get way more complicated and complex, but simply that's where I would start. Either triplex with Vital Biome Edge or the Slim X Factor Vital Biome with Edge, and then eventually transition her onto a ProBio 5. And that's really hard. I mean, someone who is ADHD, depression, low energy, they're going to have trouble focusing and remembering to take their supplements. So, but once they get on it and start feeling better, they'll be able to take charge over it. So, just that being a daughter, mother daughter, that would be something to mention potentially that could be a struggle that the daughter has. Any other questions? You're so welcome. Yeah, and that in someone struggling like that, it's not that they don't want to take it, it's literally their brain is like literally like a hamster on a hamster wheel. Like they would if they could sometimes. But it's like ding, 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 and then they're depressed and have no motivation. So, which on the flip side, some adrenal support would probably be good. Um, which the only one we have right now is Metaburn, which I would not put her on right now. But something like lemon balm or potentially rhodiola, just singular things to help give some love to the adrenals. All right, I recently started Plexus, taking Triplex and Restore. I'd love to take sleep, but can't because of the potential interaction with tamoxifen and Zoloft. I think I will start Vital Biome. Edge will help with sleep. No, 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 no. Edge doesn't help with sleep unless you have severe ADHD. I don't have the ADHD, so it energizes me and helps me focus and have a little more energy. But some people with severe ADHD, the whole thing, like they have the opposite effect, like caffeine puts them to sleep. So that's what I was talking about. So don't try to go to sleep with Edge. I mean, yeah. Yes, Vital Biome you can take before bed and see if it helps you sleep. Um, okay, well, when do you take those two? What time of day do you take those two meds? I just want to look up something real quick while you're waiting to tell me. Okay, so you do take those at night. Yeah, no, you can't take the sleep because it has the 5-HTP and that will not play well with the Zoloft at all. So unless you can change to the morning, um, okay, then yeah. So if you take those in the morning, you are safe because it's one time a day, right? You are safe to try. Well, actually, tell me how much Zoloft you're taking. Um, because that will, I know we're getting all personal. Okay. Um, I would not take a whole sleep gummy. So I would start if you want, okay. So there's a couple things. One, all right, if you change them to the AM, here's a couple things you can try. Do not take a whole sleep gummy. I don't think you'll be able to tolerate how much of a shift it will make in your neurotransmitter. So we want to do it slow and steady. Literally take an eighth of a gummy, and then you're going to take work up to a fourth. Now with your psychiatrist, if like whenever you get to the point where you're like, hey, I want to like work on stepping down, you come up with a game plan with them. And what you can do is there's things like saffron, 5-HTP. I like saffron because it's really gentle. 5-HTP can be a bit jarring. Um, but you can pair that away from that. But you need typically people with like on anxiety medication also have adrenal needs. Um, and so holy basil would be a good option to take before bed um, prior to introducing the sleep or anything else. It's just a beautiful herb. Um, it's very calming. It's decreases cortisol, real good, real good. Um, and then so like getting into the nitty gritty of all that, I would just take it real slow. If you feel like it is not a good fit, like it's just you take the sleep and you feel a little more edgy or just not right, then just stick with the holy basil. That has no interactions with what you're taking that I'm aware of. You can always double check on the interaction thing. But anything that's going to increase your serotonin, you always pair away because that's serotonin syndrome um, by minimum 5 hours, and you do it in micro doses. So I hope that helps you, and you can see if that helps because it does have things um, like the GABA, lemon balm in it. The only thing is, if you can tolerate ashwagandha, would be my other question. I don't know if you've taken ashwagandha. Some people with anxiety do not like it, but that has to be with the catecholamine. It has to do with like a neuro breakdown. Um, um, so, well, okay. Here's the deal. When you're on SSRIs or antidepressants, they're not monitoring. Okay. They're not monitoring you with, and they don't know how to combine something that is holding the serotonin in your brain to then, if you want to do something natural, how to do that. Um, so when you want to step down, work with them on that. Okay, if ashwagandha is something you can't take, then don't do the sleep gummy. Like, just don't. Then do something like melatonin and holy basil and see if that works. Um, there's other things, you can also try. Um, and there's other blends and things you can try, but that specific sleep gummy, then I wouldn't if you know you shouldn't be taking it with those medications. And Zoloft is a pretty hard one. Um, really hard medication. Like it just hits your gut hard. So just keep working on that gut health. Don't stop being on Zoloft. Don't ever stop on your gut health. um, and then typically when people start stepping down on like Zoloft or something, that's when you can bring in the serotonin builders. And so you have sort of like this. But you could find a practitioner that you could like a natural practitioner to work on that side with you, and then have your psychiatrist work on that other side, and then sort of blend them together. I've seen people get good results with that. So I hope that helps. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. You're welcome. And then I think we have a couple minutes left. So do you guys have any other questions? And just to encourage you, like 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut and 50% of your dopamine. Wait, no, I'm sorry. 80%. 90, 80, somewhere. Somewhere in that range. And then 50% of dopamine is made in your gut. So know that gut health is vitally important. And so yes, vital biome, 100%. It's a beautiful, beautiful um, probiotic that I love. If you guys don't have any other questions, I mean, we're good. Yes, keep going, be consistent. It's worth it. It pays off. It's a long journey. So, we didn't get where we are overnight. So you'll you'll get there. It just takes a lot of work and navigation. So to point you in good directions is adrenal support, gut health, making sure all your nutrients are good because low vitamin D can actually cause anxiety and depression. Crazy, huh? And if you don't have enough calcium to help the vitamin D work too, that also can drive it. You can be low in both and not even know it. So, good nutrition definitely heals. So, if you guys are good, we can hop off if you don't have any other questions. You just let me know. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you later.